Subscriptions, subscriptions, subscriptions. They seem to be everywhere nowadays, and your smart home probably isn't immune. Not only are you probably paying a subscription to back up your laptop and phone pictures and things like that, but you might have to pay a subscription to store recordings from your own smart doorbells and cameras, or maybe even pay a monthly fee to even access your smart home, which seems to be more popular than ever this year. Usually what it comes down to is cloud storage to store all of this data. After all, it costs money for someone else to run a computer in some data center somewhere to store this data. But if you're sick of all the subscriptions to store this data or to even access your own smart home data, one of the best ways to eliminate them is to store the data yourself, which is where a small box called Network Attached Storage comes in, or a NAS. These can eliminate those subscriptions by storing the data locally in your own home. And UGREEN has sent me one of their latest NASs to test, the NASync DXP4800 GT. So let me show you how it can not only store all your data, but help you run your smart home itself. While UGREEN did not sponsor this video, they did send me the DXP4800 GT and 4 2TB hard drives for free, which might be worth more than gold by the time this video is published, which we'll talk about some at the end of the video. But let's dive in. Opening up the DXP4800 GT, it's well packaged and cushioned out of the box, and the build quality is pretty impressive coming from UGREEN, especially considering they're relatively new to the NAS market. All the accessories you will need are also in the box, including HDMI cord, Ethernet cords, and a tool to remove the drive bays. Looking around the exterior, you'll find lots of ports. On the front, you have an SD card port, one USB-C port, and one USB-A Type 3.2 port. On the back, you have an HDMI port, another USB-A 3.2, and 2 USB-A 2.0 ports, along with dual 10 gigabit Ethernet connections. Inside is a Ryzen 2514 processor, and under this access panel, you will see the slots for the RAM memory and some M2 SSD slots. And what I love about this is that these are actually expandable. It comes with one stick of 8 gig of RAM, but there are 2 slots available where you can put up to 64 gigs if you choose to expand in the future. Similarly, you can use the 2 M2 SSD slots to add a SSD cache to help improve performance or run things like VMs, which we'll talk about here a little later in the video. It's great to see this expandability built in case you need to upgrade things in the future. While it didn't come with an M2 SSD card out of the box, I did add a 1 terabyte one for my own testing purposes. The first thing you want to do is load the hard drives into the trays and slot them into the bays. Now UGREEN will allow you to put either a 3.5-inch standard spinning hard disk drive or 2.5-inch SSD drives into the trays and slide them in where you can expand up to 144 terabytes of storage total. You will then plug in power to the NAS and run an Ethernet cord from the back to your home's internet equipment. Now, since this does provide a 10 gigabit Ethernet connection, in order to get that full speed, I actually had to add an SFP adapter to my UniFi equipment in my own home. But no matter what speed your internet equipment provides in its Ethernet ports, the NAS will adapt to them. You'll then navigate to the URL in the quick start guide where you'll then set up your logins and set up your storage pool and the RAID type. I chose to go with RAID 5 on my drives since this allows one drive to fully fail and go kaput without losing any data. The 4 2 terabyte drives UGREEN provided were able to give me 6 terabytes of storage in a RAID 5 configuration. I found the web interface, the desktop app, and the mobile app all very easy to use with nice eye-pleasing designs, and the support app that is on the home page of the UGREEN interface I found to be very helpful whenever I had any questions on how to get things going, which I started with setting up storage in order to back up our laptops to. Using the support app, I found the instructions to set up an SMB file share for Macs, or if you're using Windows, you want to look into an NFS file share, which the support app had instructions on how to do both. Once you get your file share set up and accessible on your network, you then have a couple options on how you want to back up your data. You can simply add the NAS as a network drive on your computer, and you can manually drag and drop data back and forth. Or if you're using a MacBook and the SMB file share option, you can set up the NAS as a time machine location in the settings to set up backups through Time Machine. Alternatively, you can also install the UGREEN desktop app on your Mac or your Windows machine and set up automatic file syncing through it so that files automatically added to a local folder on your laptop will automatically back up and sync over to the UGREEN NAS. So there are lots of options to do this. The next thing I did was install the UGREEN app on my iPhone in order to set up photo backups. The iPhone app was very similar to the web interface and the desktop app, and it's good to see consistency across those three types of apps. In the UGREEN iPhone app, you can choose to back up all your photos from your iPhone to the storage on your NAS, or you can select specific albums from your Photos app. Now, there are a couple settings you'll want to check out in the mobile app on your iPhone, specific to whether you want to allow backing up over a cellular connection or Wi-Fi only. And you can also schedule these backups so they only happen at night when you're sleeping or anything, because backing up those photos, especially in the beginning when you have all your photos that it's backing up, will drain your battery. So you want to be a little conscious there of scheduling those. My MacBook backups and my iPhone photo backups taken care of. The next thing I moved on was testing the smart home features, starting with the security cameras. The DXP4800 GT can be used to store camera recordings locally, so you don't have to pay companies a cloud storage fee. Now, the most common culprits of this are probably like your Rings and your Nests, but you can't use their cameras with a NAS storage system like this because they don't offer any local video streams using protocols like ONVIF or RTSP. So in order to find cameras compatible with this system, you'll want to look for cameras that support ONVIF or RTSP so they work with this. Some common brands that support this are brands like Tapo or Reolink or some of the newer Aqara cameras. Now, these brands usually offer local storage on a micro SD card on the camera itself, but recording to a central NAS like this one from UGREEN is more secure in case the camera is damaged or stolen. So after you find a camera that offers ONVIF or RTSP, you'll first want to set it up in their app and enable the ONVIF or RTSP stream in order for UGREEN to find it. You'll then launch the App Center on your UGREEN desktop and install the Surveillance Center app. After the installation finishes, your ONVIF cameras will automatically be discovered by their Surveillance Center application. And you will then log in with the credentials that you set up in the manufacturer's app. You can add up to 8 cameras on the DXP4800 GT, and you can choose whether you want to record 24/7 or motion events only. You can also set how long you want to retain these events for per each individual camera. One of the models from Tapo that I added to the system was a pan and tilt model, and I was pleased to discover that the pan and tilt controls are available in the UGREEN Surveillance Center app. So you have full control over the camera when you're live streaming it from your phone or the desktop right there in the app, which is great. The DXP4800 GT NAS also supports AI detections for these cameras, which will give you the ability to have things like person, face, pet, and vehicle detection notifications coming to your phone. And they'll pop up right on the iPhone app and give you a notification of which one of those was detected. Although I do wish the notification had a still frame attached to it, but the text is good to see at least which type of detection it was. Now, there are some limits in place in the Surveillance Center app on these AI detections in order to keep the NAS's performance sustainable. It only allows 3 AI detection points to be enabled on these calculates, and it's a little bit tricky to calculate, but basically it works like this. Enabling person, pet, and vehicle detection counts as 1 point, and that's whether it's on one camera or multiple cameras. But you're only allowed to enable face detection on one camera, and only that camera can have the person detection enabled, and that's 3 total points. So in order to have face detection enabled, if you do have multiple cameras, only that one camera can have AI detections enabled for it. So if you disable face detection, you can then enable the person, pet, and vehicle detection on all the cameras you have up to those 8 different cameras. So it's a little tricky to calculate, but it does keep the performance sustainable. I didn't have any performance issues with these AI detections enabled. If you do need more AI detections than these 3 points, I would suggest you look into the Plus and the Pro models of this very same NAS, which allow more detection points. One other thing I was curious about was the HDMI port on the back of the NAS, whether you could plug in a monitor to it and use it to view all your camera trees at once, like a kind of little security system setup. Unfortunately, that HDMI port can only be used for watching movies that you have stored on your UGREEN NAS. But maybe that's something they could allow in the future, who knows, with these software updates. Now, smart home security cameras are not the only thing that have cloud subscriptions nowadays. You also see whole smart home ecosystems charging. And this isn't a new thing. If you were familiar with Wink probably a decade ago, they started charging for access to their system. And in fact, just last month, SmartThings announced they're going to start charging $5 a month in order for third-party apps to access their ecosystem. And one way to avoid these subscriptions in order to get to your own smart home is to run something that's open source and locally focused, such as Home Assistant. Home Assistant is probably the most popular open source, locally focused smart home ecosystem you'll find around today. And they can run on anything pretty much that you can get your hands on, including NAS's. Home Assistant is available in the UGREEN App Center. So if you launch the App Center, you'll find an icon to install Home Assistant. And what this does is with a single click, in the background, it installs Docker, which is a way to run applications on your NAS. And then it will install the Docker version of Home Assistant. If you go through the process of setting this up from the UGREEN App Center, eventually you will see a Home Assistant icon on your UGREEN dashboard. And if you click that, it will open a web page with Home Assistant. You can go through the process of adding your usernames, setting up Home Assistant, and it will then automatically discover all the smart home devices that it can find locally on your network. It is very easy to install this way, and I like that UGREEN included it as a default option right there in their App Center. But there are some disadvantages that you should be aware of. One of which that it is hard to expose USB devices to this Docker install for things like Zigbee or Z-Wave radios. The other part of it is you don't have easy access to the Home Assistant App Center. So it's hard to install things like Matter Controller, Zigbee to MQTT, or some of the other popular Home Assistant apps that you will see in other YouTube videos. You also do not have access to the Home Assistant Supervisor, which makes it harder to install updates and monitor your system for any potential problems. And it's also harder to do things like back up to network attached storage devices like UGREEN's NAS. Now, the other version of installing Home Assistant on a NAS is via a virtual machine, which is basically like a little virtual computer that runs right here locally on your NAS. Now, Home Assistant has very good documentation on how to do this on their website, which I'll link down in the description. But the basics for installing this on the UGREEN NAS is that you go to the UGREEN's App Center, you install a virtual machine, you create your virtual machine, and when you go to the Home Assistant website to download the version for virtual machine, you'll want to look for the VDI file version, which you'll probably download to your local computer. And when your VM setup is done in the UGREEN NAS, you will select this VDI file to load the image onto your virtual machine on the UGREEN NAS. The other thing you'll want to look out for is you'll select Linux as your operating system when setting up your virtual machine. And under the advanced menu, you will see bootstrap type, and you'll want to choose UEFI or UEFI as your bootstrap type. This is required by Home Assistant, so make sure you don't miss this step. From there, you go through the rest of the standard steps, setting up your VM using the UGREEN dialog. And when you launch the VM app from your UGREEN desktop, and you click the connect button, it'll open a website where your VM is installing, and you will see Home Assistant getting set up and going through its process of installing. From here, you should see an IP address. You want to take that IP address, go to a browser window in your favorite internet browser of choice, type in the IP address along with :8123, hit enter, and here you will see the graphical interface or your normal Home Assistant interface, and you'll go through the process of creating your login, and you will see all of the devices automatically discovered from your local smart home network. And with Home Assistant installed on your VM, if you go into the settings, you'll see you have the full App Store available, along with your options for backing up, including backing up to the NAS itself if you add the NAS as a destination network drive, and you also have the ability to install updates automatically as they are found by Home Assistant. With all your local Wi-Fi devices or bridges added like Philips Hue or Shelly or things like that, you'll then probably want to install any local smart home radios for things like Z-Wave or Zigbee. And this is super easy with this UGREEN NAS because it has those USB ports on the front along with the back. You can choose any of those to plug your radio into. So in this case, I'm going to plug in the Home Assistant ZWA2, which is their Zigbee radio right here on the front. And then if you go into the VM's advanced menus from the UGREEN VM app, You'll then select USB device under the advanced menu, and you will see that Z-Wave stick in this case, or Zigbee stick, whichever you're using, available. Click it, relaunch the VM, and you'll see it right there in Home Assistant, ready to click and install, ready to set up. This is super easy to do and makes it much easier than the Docker version of Home Assistant. The other thing about this UGREEN NAS is that somebody in the community has built an excellent integration into Home Assistant. So you can add this community built app for UGREEN. You can log in with your credentials and it will port in all the details about your UGREEN NAS directly into Home Assistant. Now you'll see plenty of data like how much disk space is left on all the individual hard drives or all the storage pools you have in UGREEN. But what I've found particularly helpful is the controls over when to shut this down. So in my case, I have a UPS or a battery backup connected to Home Assistant, and I can set up automations that whenever that battery backup has only like 5 minutes left of runtime, I can shut down the UGREEN NAS smoothly. That way power isn't cut instantaneously and maybe damaging some of the hard drives that are in my UGREEN NAS. So I highly recommend you install this UGREEN integration into Home Assistant, whether you're running Home Assistant directly on the NAS itself or in some other box on your network. Now, one thing with Home Assistant is since it's a local first smart home ecosystem, is that you will need to set up a way to access it outside of your home when you're not on your home's own Wi-Fi. Now, you can do this through things like VPN services, and you can see plenty of videos on those. I personally find it easiest just to pay the Aqara subscription, which is around $6 a month here in the US. That automatically makes it an easy plug and play way to get outside access to Home Assistant when it's running on this NAS. It also gives you extra features like text-to-speech and other backup storage locations and things like that. That is an option if you don't mind a small subscription that supports Home Assistant and gives you a way to access your Home Assistant install on your UGREEN NAS when you're away from your home. I found the UGREEN NASync DXP4800 GT a great all-in-one solution that helps store data locally in my own home and run my own smart home ecosystem that helps eliminate some of these subscriptions that are out in the world right now. I love the 10 gigabit Ethernet connection that it has for super fast access to the data, whether you're doing backups from your computer or watching those recordings that have come from your smart home cameras into their surveillance center application. I also love there's multiple options to run Home Assistant, whether it's through a virtual machine or a Docker install. And I love how expandable it is on your RAM and your SSD slots for future performance increases if needed. Now at this point, you're probably all wondering, well, what is it going to cost for me to invest in a NAS like this in order to eliminate all these monthly subscriptions? The UGREEN DXP4800 GT is around $699 full price, but I do have a discount code that I'll link down in the description that I'll give you 15% off and bring the price of this system down below $600, which is a really competitive price if you look at some of the other comparable models on the market from other manufacturers. Now on top of that, you'll obviously have to buy your hard drives. And if you aren't aware, the AI industry has basically caused hard drive prices to skyrocket. So just as an example, if you're looking for prices, the 2 terabyte Western Digital hard drives that they sent me for this video are currently running about $160 each, which times 4, you're looking at basically another $600 on top of the system itself in hard drives, which I would probably consider 2 terabyte drives to be the minimum you'd want to invest, so you get that 5 terabytes total of RAID 5 storage. So all in, I would plan on around $1,200 minimum for a system like this. Now, is that a lot of money? Yes, but this is also a long-term investment that's bringing all that data into your own home, and this should last you probably at least 10 years to eliminate all those monthly costs, and probably even more in the future since that's the way the industry is going. Now, thank you for watching. If you enjoy these smart home videos, make sure you like and subscribe.